Remember the scene when Nick Cage meets a film director at the restaurant? The director is actually David Gordon Green, who Cage previously worked with on the 2013 crime film Joe, which has become one of Nicolas Cage's best film performances. That's why in this scene, Cage tries to get a role in Green's next movie. He gives an improvised audition but fails to impress the director.
I say, ha! What a way to f***ing go.
Holy shit.
In the scene when Nick Cage drives to meet his therapist, you can see Nicky, a younger version of Cage, shows up inside the car. Nicky's character actually came from young Nicolas Cage when he was doing an interview with Terry Wogan in 1990. In the scene where Nick Cage walked straight into the pool with beer in his hand, it's actually a homage to 1995's Leaving Las Vegas scene, in which Nicolas Cage played an alcoholic screenwriter. In the scene when Nick Cage meets Vivian, Cage is rambling about Marvel and Star Wars.
It's pretty hard to find an audience these days, right?
Unless you're a Marvel movie, Star Wars, whatever, yeah.
It's actually a reference to the fact that Cage was in a Marvel movie as the Ghost Rider, as well as Pedro Pascal, who's currently playing the Mandalorian in the Star Wars series. In the scene when Javi gives a speech at his birthday party, he mentions the thing that brought him closer to his late father was when they watched Guarding Tess together.
And I saw on a tiny little hospital TV, Guarding Tess. That movie brought us together.
In the next scene, you can see Nick Cage is also watching the Guarding Tess movie on his laptop.
But this guy works for us and he's gone! No!
In the scene where Nick Cage takes LSD with Javi, the CIA texts him, and Cage replies that his drug use is a Donnie Brasco situation. Donnie Brasco is the 1997 crime movie based on a real-life FBI agent who's forced to commit crimes in order to infiltrate a crime family. In the scene when Javi asks Nick Cage how he met his ex-wife Olivia, Cage says that he met her on the set of Captain Corelli's mandolin.
She was a makeup artist on Captain Corelli's mandolin.
Captain Corelli's Mandolin is a Nicolas Cage movie that got 28% score on Rotten Tomatoes. Many critics criticized Cage's Italian accent as one of the film's failures.
I'm Captain Antonio Corelli.
If you could tell me what I'm going to sleep.
Later in the scene when Nick Cage goes undercover as an Italian criminal, he seems to be mocking the critics by doing an exaggerated Italian accent.
I'd like to introduce my wife, Barbara. Why for? She was born in Santa Barbara, California. Oh my God, so far! Ah!
You think I'm f***ing stupid, sir? Hmm?
In the scene when Nick Cage's ex-wife asks about his tarantula belt, Cage responds that his stylist actually wanted him to wear a belt with a giant bee on it.
Well, you know my dresser, Jeff. Mr. Neiman
Yes.
Marcus, he wanted me to wear a bee, and I said, Jeff, not the bees, not the bees.
It's an obvious reference to Nicolas Cage's movie The Wicker Man, where the neo-pagan pours a bunch of bees on him.
No, not the bees! Not the bees! Ah!
In the climactic fight scene, when Nick Cage's daughter throws a knife in order to save her father, it's actually a callback to the Face-Off ending scene, when Sean Archer's daughter stabs Castor Troy in the leg.
Dad!